Financial Freedom Now podcast, Vodcast. Oh, welcome back. If this is your first time, this is the Financial Freedom Now podcast. We talk all things money, building wealth, financial freedom, getting you out of debt, all of the asset classes, loads and loads of tips and nuggets to help nurture you from where you are now to where you want to get to. So looking forward to, if you've I'd encourage you, if you've never listened to any of our podcasts or any other episodes, then feel free to go watch the previous ones and definitely subscribe so you can get notifications when we release new episodes. And for my my regular listeners, wherever you're listening or watching, welcome back. Thank you so much. I love the dedication. I love the commitment to all of our episodes. And yeah, thank you. All I can say is thank you. I don't know if you know it, but I would say to you, you helping and encouraging me on my journey to helping impact the 100,000 people, a million people, however much the reach I can get to, because the more encouragement you give me by watching, it encourages me to keep going, and more people will get blessed, will get inspired, and get to go from where they are now to where they want to be. So we're doing this together. Thank you so much. My name is Toyin Ayodari. I'm your favorite host. Yes, I said it. I'm your favorite host, and I'm so thankful for you joining me on this journey. Okay. What we're talking about today, you've probably seen the title. We are looking at my 3 biases, right? Very early on in my journey, when I decided to go leave my 9-to-5 job. So if you do not know, I am based in the UK. I am a full-time property developer, and I've been doing this full-time for the last 11 years. Depending on when you're listening to this, but I've been doing this full-time for a while now. And it's been a great experience, not with all its challenges. It's been, but we have been able to work through the challenges, and we are continuing to. So it's not been the easiest journey, but it's been a very enjoyable one. Earlier on in my journey, one of the things I wanted to improve on, which I didn't have at the time, I didn't know, was I wanted to improve my network. My network wasn't the greatest, and we'll talk about that and how networking is very important if you're getting into business and actually looking to achieve financial freedom. My network wasn't great, and I didn't know how to navigate that experience. So what I decided to do after reading and researching a lot was to actually join local networking groups in my area to be able to improve my network, get to meet other people doing something similar to what I was doing, and that's what I did. So I joined this networking group. It was majorly for women. I wouldn't necessarily mention the name, but really just not wanting to mention there's no reason why I had a good experience there, so there wasn't any bad experience, so that's not what I'm trying to be told there. But yeah, it was a local business networking event to myself. It was for women, and it was enjoyable. I used to go in. I was very new in business. I was learning from all of these wonderful ladies that had been in business for a very long time. And one day, I think we had a round table, and every single person was actually speaking about what they had done in property. Not in property, in business, and how they were navigating, and what are the major challenges they had. And then we had someone else say, I think it was the leader at the time, but we had an invited guest, and we had someone that would then say to them why they think those challenges are really no challenges. And I just stood up and said, to be honest, I'm very new. I really don't see any challenges. I'm very driven. I'm focused, and I want to do this. And I was probably the only one looking in property in the room. So you had people from different business sectors and business different walks of life. And this lady stood up and said to me, "Can I be very honest with you? I really don't want to get shut down for this, but I really want. Can I be honest with you?" And she said to me, "The 3 things I think could stand against you." Going into property, because obviously there were lots of different, but I was the only one that was into property, and even the women in the room thought I was very brave to be going towards property because they had loads of different backgrounds, but no one actually was in property. And she was like, "I think there are those 3 things that I think might be a barrier or they're literally, yeah, my boss. And I said, okay, go for it. I said, the reason I'm saying that I want to tell you this is you're prepared, you know it already, and it never comes to you as a shock. I said, okay, go for it. She said, I think you're very young to be going into property. At the time, although I don't actually feel that that's the case anymore, I still feel young, but I don't feel young, if you get what I mean. But she said that one of the things she said was that I think you being young in that property, I mean, most people would be in their 40s, 50s. Did I just give away my age there? Well, obviously, I wasn't in my 40s. I think I was in my 20s at the time. And she said, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I was in my 20s at the time. And she said that you being in going into properties in your 20s, it's not the norm. A lot of people are in their late 40s, if at all, but definitely more 50s. Once they've obviously walked through their career, they've got a bit of money, and that's when they get into property. So you doing it in your 20s is, yeah, I don't want to, I was going to use a particular word. It's very, 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 it's not the norm. And she said the next thing is that you're female. Again, it's a male-dominated world, and I think if you listen to one of our previous episodes, I've talked about being a woman in property and how what our experience has been like. And she said that is going to be another thing you're going to have to overcome, because again, not many women are in property. And I said, lastly, please don't be offended. You're black. Again, I am based in the UK, so obviously not. We are in the minority in terms of general population, but certainly when it comes to wealth and property, yes, the black, you don't have any blacks. So you're young, you're female, you're black. Those are the three biases. Now, obviously, I don't feel so young anymore. I feel like I am a lot older. So. And I think I literally have crossed that out. But to be honest, it did come up a few times, but I don't think it was a major one for me. I've talked about being female and what that experience was like, and so I just think it will be nice to actually talk about what minority in property is like, being black, being a property developer. What has that been like for me? Okay. Where do I go from this? I think personally for me, and this is probably going to be a controversial one. I get when I get to talk about this, a lot of people are quite surprised at my take in this and how I actually sort of navigate this. I've never seen it as a barrier. Others I've done. I mean, people have. Yeah, I have had some side comments and things that not necessarily the greatest being said to me and all that. But honestly, the way I've seen this is, again, I am here to change the status quo. I am here to conquer. I am here to change the narrative. And so the fact that people, others have feel it strange or feel it out of the norm for me to be doing what I'm doing, I think it as my responsibility to make sure that it's changed in a way that we have more blacks in property, more females in property, and more people getting into property at a young age. I don't see any of the things that I've experienced as a limiting factor. Do others see it as a limiting factor? Yes. Do I get treated as though this should limit me? Yes. But I think at the end of the day, you own your life, you own your decisions, you own whatever it is that you're going to allow stop you. I've not allowed I would actually use the word naughty comments I've had from certain people. I think I see it as their ignorance, right? And this is not in any way ignoring what's been said or what's been done, but I personally believe if the more people that you have in property, the more that are out of the norm, so young, female, black, the more people will get used to to that norm and that narrative, and it's no longer going to be out of the ordinary anymore. It would be the norm. So I take it as my own personal responsibility to change that. One of the experiences that comes to mind, I remember when we bought our home, and yes, it is in a desirable location. It's not for the faint-hearted. It was something that was on our goals for a long time. We were wishing, we were desiring, we were aspiring to get into where we bought this property, and it's a private estate. So I remember when we eventually bought the property, and again, maybe that's something I will talk to you about in the previous episode, the journey of us actually building our dream home, not forever home, dream home. So we built our house, we literally built from scratch. So but I'll talk about that in a different episode. But I think when we bought the property, I remember so it was an old house on that was sitting on the plot of land which we knocked down and built the house. But on the old property, I remember calling. We asked the gas engineer to come look at. I think the fireplace was broken, or there was something wrong, and so we asked just ignore me looking down, just trying to make sure I timed this so it's not too long. We called the gas engineer to come and have a look at the fireplace and have it fixed or have it capped, and the fireplace capped, so we don't have any gas leak from it. And he came around and he fixed it, and when it was going out, and I think we're asking how much it's going to cost. He was like, why do you have to pay for it? Just get a landlord to fix it. And I was just oh my god, I still find it funny. I just laughed. My initial reaction, trust me, was that of almost like a rage. I was like, how dare you? I know how hard I've worked to make sure I can afford to be able to pay for this house. I know how much pain and tears and everything has gone in. How dare you think I'm not worthy to live in this location or buy this property or whatever it was? But immediately I just reminded myself, nope, you're not gonna get upset. It's not entirely his fault. If more of you were in this position, then it will have no opportunity to think that way. Now, I'm not excusing his thought process, but I realize I have met a lot of people in my life, my short life, so far. I've met a lot of people in my life that innocently make such comments, but did not necessarily mean no harm. If you think about it, and if they think about what they said more carefully, then they would see how it wasn't necessarily what they said didn't actually mean well. But you can tell that it wasn't from a very bad place, as it were. And I think with this particular guy, he also thought he was actually being helpful and telling us. But because his mind had already told him that, well, he doesn't see a lot of people, because I think he does a lot of work around the private estates. He's never seen any black person in those houses. So his natural thought process is, well, they most likely are renting the property, or they can't afford to buy it. And I was just like, I think my husband at the time my husband was actually going to respond, but I can't remember the truth of it. I think Toby was going to respond, but I remember I just tapped him and just said, let it go. I don't think we even explained to him that it was our property. I think that at that point it was just it was just best to just be quiet. I didn't start saying to him, oh no, it's not mine, and story, the rest of it. No. I mean, as a matter of fact, I went to view a property today. So that was how many years ago? This is still happened today. I went to view a property today. Again, a property that, I mean, with this one, maybe because of what we've achieved, and I'm very, very thankful to God for it. It's like, why would you even think I can't? But somehow she felt it was straight, and the lady must have said she was straight. So I walked in and she was like, oh, is anyone else coming? Is it just you? Now, I couldn't even place where that comment came from. Is it that you don't think it's me? And she's spoken to me on the phone. I've exchanged emails. There was never any indication that there was more than one of us. But then she asked me, oh, sorry, is it just you? Or is there someone else coming? And she was sort of looking out. And I was like, yeah, it's just me. So, oh, yeah, let's go ahead. And I was just like, why? I mean, you get some comments, you just think, why would you think there's someone else? Now, that could easily have been she thought I'm female, it can't be me wanting to actually transact on that property. Or, well, may have been she's thinking I'm working for someone else. I have had loads of times people have actually referred to my color, and like I said, I've mentioned before when I'm talking about the episode about being a woman in property, I have gone into rooms. I mean, this happens a lot. As in, I think more often than it happens, me being the only female in the room, is more that I'm the only black in the room, and so it's something I've gotten accustomed to. But again, that is changing. I certainly am changing, because I know within our mastermind groups, our property trainings, our mentorship groups, we have loads more females, we have loads more blacks. So I know that in my own little way, I'm changing that narrative. And this is for anyone out there, really. If you, doesn't matter what it is, whatever minority group you belong to, do not accept any tag that you do not want. Whether you're black, whether you're female, whether you're young, whether you're old, because that's the new thing I've actually seen. I've seen a few people that feel they're too old to actually start in property. Now, obviously, I'm talking about property here, but it doesn't really matter what it is. If you want to pick up a new hobby, you want to pick up a new skill, doesn't matter what it is. No one determines how you play your life. You are the You can create the future you want, create the life you want. So do not let anyone's tags on you stop you from achieving what it is that you want to achieve. So personally for me, I still get it. So I'm not saying it's all gone. I get my contractors that I am paying. I literally pay for their salary, pay for their way to, but obviously they're doing a service in return. Yet still question my authority, question the fact that I'm able to do it. I actually have, I mean, that's a totally different episode. Professionals that you expect to know better and expect to be more exposed, I have them literally treat me in certain ways that I feel are not totally right. I have been marginalized before. I won't necessarily mention what sort of professionals, but I've had professionals literally treat me as though they think they've caught a thief and they're trying to dig down and see that there is something somewhere, and eventually obviously find nothing. But again, I'm not trying to excuse their bad behavior because I think it's wrong, but at the same time, I almost excuse that feeling because I don't need that negative feeling. My way of combating is actually changing that narrative and making sure more people from minority groups are able to achieve wealth, because I don't believe wealth is for everyone that wants it. But also, because I really want to, this is something I really think, and this is where I think I'm very big controversial. Also, I think a lot of people jump on this bandwagon and use it as an excuse to remain small, use it as an excuse to be to accept mediocrity, use it as an excuse of why they have not faced their fears, they've not gone ahead to take action. Because I could easily have said to myself, well, I'm black, well, I'm female, well, I'm young, and so I wouldn't go ahead and do the things that I've done or continue to do. However, I have chosen that that's not going to be my story. I see a lot of people, and I'll say it, yes, don't come for me in the comment section, be easy on me, but I will say it, I've seen a lot of blacks that play the race card and do not do anything. Oh, I couldn't view this property because I'm black. I couldn't actually get this mortgage because I'm black. I've been declined. And when you get to the bottom of it, they've not actually taken action. Honestly, I am not saying it's a nice feeling if you've been racially attacked before, or you felt. I have had experiences myself. However, a lot of times it's out of ignorance of those people. It's out of it's their problem. You should actually understand it's their problem, not yours. That they do not have, they're limited in their understanding or in their knowledge, and they do not have, they're acting in ways that, I mean, I think it's a lot of times it reflects more on them than you. But if you choose to make it your reality, then you're also at fault. So if you're black, trust me, building wealth, generational wealth, achieving financial freedom is not a race thing. Money doesn't know any color. So please, please, please go ahead and create the future you want. Achieve financial freedom now, and go ahead and do the beautiful things that you know you can do. Take action. go ahead and take action. That's what I'm going to say to you. All right then, lovely episode as usual. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for staying right till the very end. And you know what I'm going to say. Please like, share, subscribe, please subscribe. Yeah, I'm loving bringing all this beautiful content to you, but the only way I can continue to do this, if you can show me some love by liking, by sharing and subscribing. You don't know how much it means to me. Just tell one person to tell one person to tell one person, and that way we can spread the word. We can let people know that this is happening. I really appreciate your love, your support. I mean, I can't thank you enough. It's been really good speaking to you, chatting with you, hearing your comments, hearing your feedback, hearing what you've got to say on the topic as well. All right, as usual, if you need any support whatsoever, yeah, please email academy@iconrange.co.uk, academy@iconrange.co.uk. Icon Range is ICONRANGE.co.uk. If you need any access, you want to have a free strategy session with me, or you want to have access to any of our free resources, you want to learn more about property, learn more about starting your own business, achieving financial freedom, I'm all here for that. Take care and thank you. God bless. It will